المرسلين يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك.
He didn't just say it, he lived it. He was quite, I don't know, but he had it. And offering just the right words when we needed it the most. His wisdom was like a steady light in our lives. What touched me the most was his pure, showed it in the little things, like remembering my favorite food and making time to ask how I was doing every single day. Jamie, how you going? How you doing? Jamie, if my foot swell, Jamie, go and sit down and put up the foot. How the foot? And he could ask me that like believe you me, I'm going to say, Papa, give it up Friday. Because his whole day I had to hear about our foot. He had this amazing way of making you feel like you were the most important person in the room, even in a crowd. He taught me so much about love and about loving fully and unconditionally without reservation. And given from the heart without expecting anything in return. In moments when I felt lost, he was the one who steadied me. And believe you me, nobody here is going to know how that was. That was just between Papa and I. losing him feels like losing piece of that light. But I know that he left a part of us, a part of himself in each of us. There's one lesson he gave to me, and that I'll carry. He'd say, always remember your ABCs. And by that, he meant always be careful. Papa, you be careful. You be careful. Although I know you already rich, and I know you smiling ear to ear. To him, life was about kindness and about being there for each other and about loving with a full heart. I know I'll hold that lesson close as I move forward, and I hope each of us can honor his memory by doing the same. Thank you, Papa, for every moment, every lesson, and every bit of love. I love you, and I will always miss you until we meet again.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you for those inspirational words and words of wisdom. We will now have Robert, a family friend, share some words.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, sure, no problem. Yes, sir. Well, good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I am Robert Abdul Mitchell. I am a dear close friend to both Jamie and Reagan and to this family. The passing of Uncle Randolph was one that hit us all very hard. He was definitely one of those people you thought would have been around forever. He always had kind words, words of wisdom, and I can share in the sentiment that Jamie expressed. He was always the one to ask how you were doing, and every time I visit here, he would always ask that before I leave. How you doing? You're going to lose some weight. I mean, some of the questions we'll stay away from, the weight one especially. But Uncle Randolph left a legacy here on this earth. And he would be remembered as a legend. And why I say as a legend is because he was at many people. And he would have touched so many lives on his short stay on earth. And heroes are remembered, but legends live on. And that is one thing that I would ask all of you to do. Of Papa, as we fondly call him at home here, alive in your hearts. And it's in that way that he would have taught us would live on through us on this earth as he goes to the great beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for your words of wisdom. Okay. Now we will have an important person coming up to give us a pan rendition. Kyle Ali. we will now have a few words from Chad Rajack, son of Reagan and Jamie Rajack, and he's going to share some words of the impact his grandfather has on him. Chad?
Hi everyone, my name is Chad and I'm Papa's grandchild. I'm only 8, but my grandpa was one of my best friends in the whole world. Grandpa always made me laugh. He had the best jokes and he always knew how to make me smile even if I was sad. We had fun together, like when he'd take me to the park or teach me about gardening, praying, the goats banking. He told me stories that I loved to listen to, and he was a really good listener too. He never got mad at me even when I was a little too loud or got in the way. Grandpa would just smile and say, "That's my chatty boy." I know that Grandpa loved me a lot. He gave me the best hugs and he made me feel special. I will miss him every day. Thank you, Grandpa, for being the best. Grandpa, I love you.
Randolph Rajack, also referred to as Papa. Now, I have been thrown in the deep end here because I was asked yesterday to do the eulogy. And I'm not resident here, so I had to do some short interviews with some key members of the family to get a feel for things based on my own impressions too of dealing with Papa or Uncle Randolph, as you would call him. So, and you know, when you're doing a eulogy, it is easy, you know, a father is a father, a grandfather is a grandfather, and there are certain expectations that are expected of him. So, in addition to the information that is documented in the brochure that you receive, I'm not going to duplicate that, and I'm not going to give you a grocery list of all the great things as that is expected of a grandfather. What I tried to do when I interviewed the key members of the family, especially his 3 wonderful children, the product of that union of marriage with him and his wife will tell you the effect that he had and what he delivered in these 3 wonderful people we have and where we are gathered here to celebrate his life, to recognize what he has done, and to understand the legacy that he has left so that they could take that also and move on with their lives also. So it's in that context I'm going to share with you some thoughts that I picked up, give you my own impressions as we talk about Uncle Randolph. Okay, well, you know, it's a great privilege and honor for me to do this. And I was surprised when Jamie and Reagan and the family asked me to do it, but wholeheartedly I accepted, you know. And really to do justice to Uncle Randolph, a fellow who went to bat for 88 years, okay, 11th of August he was 88. How could we do justice to speak about the great things he has done and all the accolades we could give him? Action speaks louder than words. You all knew him. All of us here interacted with him in one way or the other. Family, friends, business, associates, and what have you. So you have your own impressions of it. But when I get feedback, speaking from the heart, when I spoke to his 3 wonderful children, that is his son, Ricky, Reagan, okay, and Sally. It gave me a good meaning in life to see the impact that Grandpa Randolph had on his children. So with that in mind, you know, he was a widower for a number of years too. So he was like the father who also mothered his children. And that is what I want to show. So you know the kind of behaviors and nurturing feeling that he gave to his family. Okay? I spoke about the 3 children he has, but also 4 wonderful grandchildren in Chad, Genevieve, Vinay, and Emma. And that was the legacy of his life. He lived for them and enjoyed every minute with them, with the children whenever he met with them. And of course, Chad is the favorite here, spoiled as usual. Okay. So when I got the feedback, Shakespeare once said, the evil that men do lives after them, and the good is often interred in their bones. After interviewing a number of people, the children, and also those who worked in the house, like the nurse who came to see me, not one of them gave me any negative comment or criticism on Uncle Randolph. So he proved Shakespeare wrong. All I was hearing was very good feedback of him, and I agreed with it. Now,
يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله.
What he made me do is to jot down some notes that when I meet the aspiring folks who are going into politics, what we could tell the leaders so they could shape their agenda and manifestos in shaping the politics. So up to 3 days ago, he did check with me. Are you doing it? I said, I have the notes. But the key people I had to talk to is down with the virus, so I will meet them and share your sentiments with them. The other thing too, my mother always kept in contact with Uncle Randolph, and she passed away, 4 years ago. But his input in dealing with her on business matter and property matters made my life extremely easy. I never had a problem, and everything worked smooth for us with family issues and stuff like that. So he was always there to provide advice. He had a nice, pleasant personality, a good sense of humor. Okay, when we visited him, and when I do talk to him, and he liked to make conversation. So from my perspective, Uncle Randolph did exactly what an uncle is supposed to do, and he had a great impact on us. And I looked at the interaction with Uncle Randolph, with Reagan, with Jamie, and the grandchildren that he interacted with. It was really, really heartwarming to see. Now, it is easy to say these things because in a public forum, you want to be politically correct, right? So in order to do justice to Uncle Randolph, I went directly to the 3 children, Ricky, Reagan, and Sally, and tell me straight to my face what you think, because you all asked me to do the eulogy. And this is what Ricky had to say. He said, his father left 3 important ideas or guidelines in his life, and you will see what he turned out to be. His father always tell him, and I'm quoting Ricky, eldest son, hard work always pay off. Keep a balance in your life. That is, work hard, play hard. And the value of education. The outcome of that, you see Ricky today is a university graduate, and he's a professional in the oil and gas industry. So that's one of the products when I spoke to Ricky. I mean, I can't give you the encyclopedia of knowledge of what Ricky shared with me, but these are the salient points I would share with you, the impact that Uncle Randolph had on his children. Then I went to Sally. Well, I asked Sally, what did your father mean to you? What legacy did he leave? What impressions did he leave? He's your father that helped brought you into this world. She watched me in my face and said, my father meant everything to me. Qualify it, please. She said, my father had no primary school education, but he had excellent common sense. Well, I got hit for 6 right here. Okay? Then she said he guided her development and her career. Okay? And today, she's an entrepreneur. She's a real estate developer, and she resides in Canada. And she said her father had a good sense of humor, so she could approach him, she could discuss anything with him, and she feel motivated to move up. So what she told me, she said her achievement is based on the impact and influence that her father had on her. I took notes, and I'm sharing it with you. They had an excellent relationship. Well, coming to the head honcho here. The guy who lives here, Regan, Rajack, my cousin, and his wife, Jamie. Well, when you start to deal with Regan now, it will take about another 2-3 hours to discuss what he was trying to share with me. But the salient points that I got from Regan is that they moved into his residence also on November 5th, 2018, and on November 5th, 2024, 6 years, Papa lived here, and he lived date to date 6 years when he passed away on November 5th. That had a significant emotional impact on the family too, and especially Regan. Seeing Regan today is different from how you saw him over the last few days. It really hit him hard, you know, and he owed a debt of gratitude for his development as an entrepreneur, okay, and as a real estate and financial services businessman. And Regan is progressing very, very successfully. As you see today, you have the evidence before you. And so too, I didn't mention for Sally. Sally is also a university graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree, just to, as her brother, Ricky. Okay, what Regan shared with me too is that, you know, his father held his hand in helping his development. Uncle Randolph really ran the real estate agency. And what he did, Uncle Randolph developed himself, you know, is like he was on a railroad track. First he started off with Caroni Limited, and he worked in the sugar industry. Then he went into agriculture and worked in developing and sharing and selling produce and what have you. Even into the goat and sheep industry too, he was involved with, and all that was a success. But as business conditions changed, and his conditions changed too, he moved on, and then he went into the real estate business, and he was a very successful businessman. What he did, in the idea and in the process of succession planning, Regan was the next of kin, and Regan is moving on with that legacy today, and we see a product of that. So congratulations to Uncle Randolph, because we have the outcomes, we have the results of how his 3 children developed, performed, and delivered and functioning as a happy family in society today, and currently today residing at 16 Tago Avenue today. Now, what Regan said is that, you know, anytime you're in a bind and you need help, you need a go-to person. His father was the go-to person. He was the mobile encyclopedia. They always go for advice, and Jamie also shared that same sentiments with me, you know, and especially due to their mother's passing, Uncle Randolph had a dual role to play. The other thing about what I understand about Uncle Randolph too, I was planning to say this when I was talking about Terry, but I will mention it now. That is his nephew also. Terry indicated to me when their father died in Princestown, they were very, very small. And who fathered them? The 3 children was Uncle Randolph. He was there for them, and he held their hands, and today they are all successful in their endeavors. As we move on, these are the notes I jot down yesterday when I tried to be like a forensic expert and a policeman to get feedback from them. You know, I asked, don't give me fluff. I just want to get some honest feedback from you. What impact did Uncle Randolph have on you? And it's not just talking, I could see it coming from the heart. Well, I don't have to explain anymore, because Jamie was a clear example this morning for you. When she started to talk from her heart, she just broke down. And this is the Jamie I know too, earlier in the week too, when she talked, even this morning, when she called me at 6 o'clock this morning, she was missing Uncle Randolph. Thank you, Jamie. Now that I talked about the 3 children, his next of kin, I'm going to talk about a little bit on the extended family. And just bear with me here. Jamie gave you a good synopsis of what Uncle Randolph and what he meant to her. But she said she knew Uncle Randolph for 16 years, even before she picked up Regan. Okay? She has been married for 10 years. And she said she admired Uncle Randolph. This is an actual quote, not my quote, that I got from Jamie. She said, Uncle Randolph taught her how to be a daughter, and he changed her perspective on life. Okay? And this is the product of his influence on her, how she's a good wife and mother and a good caregiver too in the family, and how she's bringing up her 2 children. Okay? And to reinforce what Jamie also said, when she spoke to me, she said, Papa, Uncle Randolph, showed her unconditional love. He had a good sense of humor. He had a significant impact on her. And she has a legacy by which to live on. And that would motivate her as she developed her children based on the experiences she had living and working with Uncle Randolph. And I thought I'd share that with you. And these are some of the key comments. These are the key sentiments I would like to share with you from a people perspective. I don't want to know what was the return on investment or how many vehicles they had. And we know Reagan was a car enthusiastic, so his father always made sure he had a nice X6 and things like that. But this is the legacy of a father who has had a significant impact on his 3 children, and you have the evidence to back it up from the outcomes which I just shared with you, and those are just some of the great key points that would resonate with you on what a good family life is look like. So now I'll go to a little extended family, because I mentioned Terry, and Terry is here today. Terry's father, okay, and mother, the father died when Terry was very small, and they lived in Princeton and St. Cross Road. And without any hesitation, Uncle Randolph took over the mantle, okay? The father who'd mothered also the 3 children that Terry's and his sisters and brothers find that dilemma they were in. And what Terry told me, and I quote, okay, he was a father to 2 brothers and a sister due to the passing of their father. Terry said, Uncle Randolph gave them a lot of help, financial and support in their upbringing and in their formative years. You know, the early years of childhood, what it could be, the state of rebellion and dealing with father figures, especially when you're not my father or my mother. Terry was very acknowledgement and thankful for the impact and influence that Uncle Randolph had on him and his siblings also. So, what Terry said again, it was just not only with the family. He said after he got married too, okay, he had, with his 2 children, Uncle Randolph took an active role in seeking their welfare and their activities at school. Some key examples that Terry shared with me, he said his daughter, Salona, who attended a class and did her Christmas school dance, that every year Uncle Randolph was there to see and cheer her on and give her that motivational support. And this is what he was very happy about. Not only the parents, but Uncle Randolph was always there for his, niece and nephew also in their development. His daughter, his son Kyle, who just played the pan, okay, Uncle Randolph was always there to cheer him on and give him support in the classical arts that he was doing in the case of the national instrument, the steel pan. But what Terry dropped his head for in telling me today, next week, Uncle Randolph would not be there to see him. And it was very hurtful when he told me that. It was very hurtful because Terry nearly broke down and I couldn't handle it either. And you know when you're bringing up children what it is like. And I thought I'd share with you. This is not only bookwork or doing business, but when you see kids growing up and you're there with them, that is where it has very, very big impact. As they said, it doesn't take a parent only, but it takes a village to raise a child. And by Uncle Randolph, the extended family giving that support was really motivating for the children. Well, apart from the extended family, Uncle Randolph was not well for the last 7 months. Okay? For the last 7 months, he was not well. And what I would share with you here today is that Alyssa, the certified or the registered nurse he had working with him, I asked her, well, you dealing with Uncle Randolph on a day-to-day business. Share with me now, what really went on with all you? With a probing eye, I just wanted to hear what she had to say and be honest and straightforward with me. He's gone now. Alyssa said, Papa was easygoing. He was patient, careful, and level-headed. She said when she's in a blind or she need any bit of advice, she did consult with Papa also, and he did give her good advice. Some of it personal, and I know she got married recently, so there's a lot of coaching and counseling that Uncle Randolph gave her. She said she got the impression that he loved everybody when you are around, and he treated her as his own. When he made that comment to that he treated her as her own, remember, she just joined as a worker for the last 7 months. So for him to make that quick adjustment in the time of pain and ache that he's going through, in the downtime, because remember, people just don't die like that. It goes through a process, and also you have the systems starting to break down and what have you. You go through a very difficult transition there, and with all of that Uncle Randolph was there for her, and he treated her as his own. And that is the kind of feedback and influence that I got when I talked to the children and extended people in the family, the influence that Uncle Randolph had in it. And I'll tell you, he has a political mind, because on 2 or 3 occasions in the last week, he keep niggling me, did you go and share that information with the guys who have political ambitions. I say, yeah, I will catch up with them later this week, and I will share that. In fact, he made me write it down, so I have the points jot down for him. So he was very active even until today, right, before his passing, in seeking the interests of the country. I'm not saying the advice, they have to take it, but at least he was making an effort to share that with us. And folks, it's so, I'm so pleased, I feel honored that the family, Reagan and Jimmy, Ricky and Sally, asked me to take over the mantle in a short space of time to do a eulogy for Uncle Randolph. It was really, really heartwarming for me, and I feel appreciated to do it. But I had to get feedback. I don't have the knowledge in my head. It's the feedback that I got, and I shared it with you, so it has a lot of credibility in it. And what I would do, and as I close off on this eulogy today, I tried my best to give justice to Uncle Randolph, but no way I could measure up to it. Batting for 88 years, you cannot do it in 15 or 20 minutes. But I try to give you some significant points that would have some impact on your thinking, and as you reflect from your experiences with Uncle Randolph. And with that, I share with you a quote from Rabindranath Tagore. And this is what Tagore had to say. Death is not everything. It is not extinguishing the light. It is putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. Unquote from Rabindranath Tagore. And with that, I leave it with you, that as we celebrate the life and times of Uncle Randolph, he's just moving on. We know it is sad. He's gone in the body, but his spirit moves on. And with that, I thank you for your attention. Okay. Shamila, is Shamila here? We'll give a vote of thanks. Okay. Okay, well, I will now pass over to our Imam for your blessings. Yeah, this is the whole boat.
Assalamu alaikum. Prophet standing in front of the اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصلي عليه. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. صدق الله العظيم. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا خاتم النبيين. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رحمة للعالمين. Alhamdulillah, all praises, all thanks, all gratitude is shown to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The rude and salutations, prayer and benedictions upon the best of His creation, our master, our leader, our guide, our exemplar, Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My dear members of the respected bereaved family, brothers and sisters in Islam, brothers and sisters in humanity, children, I greet you with the universal greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace, blessings and mercies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon each and every one of you here this afternoon. A pleasant good afternoon to my non-Muslim brothers and sisters. My respected elders, brothers and sisters, I have quoted for you a verse of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us of our event in this world. For verily the verse translates as, verily we have come from Allah and our return is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of the conditions of living life in this world is that we have to accept that one day to come, inshallah, we have to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My brothers and sisters, in our short program here this afternoon, I'm going to do some beneficial things for their brother. I'm going to recite some verses of Surah Al-Yasin, which is customary in a program like this to benefit our dear brother as we return him to the qabr. After which, inshallah, I'll give you a hadith or two in respect to what I've recited, and then inshallah we end with the dua supplication al-Fatiha. So I'll ask your indulgence and your patience as I recite the verses of the Quran. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammad wa barik wa sallam wa salli alayhi. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Yasin wal Quranil Hakim. Innaka la minal mursalin ala siratim mustaqim. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرات وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين وضرب لهم مثالا أصحاب القريات إذا جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم لا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لا مرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إن تطيرنا بكم لا إن لم تنتهوا لا نرجمنكم ولا يمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم إن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لو يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أتخذوا من دونه آلهة الرحمن بذل لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا في ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزل على قومي من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآيات لهم الأرض الميتة وحييناها وخرجنا منها هبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنة من نخيل عناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثماره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآيات لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري مستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منزلا حتى أدخل الجن القديم لا الشمس ينبغي أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآيات لهم أن حملنا ذرياتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صراخ لهم ولم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا اتقوا ما لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلى صيحة واحدة أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما تأتيهم من آيات ربهم لكانوا موردين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا اتقوا ما لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلى صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلى صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلمون نفس شيئا أو تجزون إلى ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متقيون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين واعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا فلم تكونوا تأكلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم تؤدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على فاستبقوا الصراط فأنا يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نؤمر نقص في الخلق أفلا يأكلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو لذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان يقول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وظللناها لهم فمنها ركوب ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنني أعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب مثلا ونسي خلقه قال ما يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر أخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسول الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والذاكرين. Allahu Akbar. So my respected elders, brothers and sisters, children, we have recited the verses of the Quran. The chapter which I recited from, as I indicated, is chapter number 36. We call Surah Yasin. One of the benefits of this surah, our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he has advised us make it the practice of reciting Surah Yasin over your deceased ones. Verily, the recitation of Surah Yasin is a means of forgiveness for that person. Hence the reason, my brothers and sisters, when someone has just passed away, on the day of the funeral, even after burial, this is one of the surahs we recite to give that person benefit in the grave. One recitation of Surah Yasin is equivalent to the Quran being recited from cover to cover 10 times. Hence the reason, inshallah, we recite it to give that person immediate benefits or reward when they will be placed in the grave. My brothers and sisters, this afternoon, inshallah, we'll try not to be too lengthy. There's a few of the hadiths in reminder of death and our preparations for it in this world. My brothers and sisters, this is one of the greatest signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given to us. And there's something for us to reflect and think, my brothers and sisters. Are we prepared to reach this stage in our life, my brothers and sisters? That's the question that we ask ourselves. Are we ready for this level of our life, my brothers and sisters? We don't need an answer here, but my brothers and sisters, it's for you to think and for you to understand that one day to come, inshallah, you are going to be in this said position. Between Friday and today, inshallah, this is the 4th death I have to deal with, my brothers and sisters. So it's something, my brothers and sisters, that we could never get accustomed to. Every single day we are faced with it, my brothers and sisters. We go to bed with it. We get up with it, my brothers and sisters. And yet we don't realize. Do you know, the angel of death visits each and every one of us the least amount of times, 5 times a day. Do you know that, my brothers and sisters? The angel of death visits you while you are sleeping, while you are awake, wherever you are engaged in. They come and they check on you, my brothers and sisters. Do you know what that visit is for? They are checking to see how many time more you have until you expire on the face of the earth, when they are going to come to extract that soul. So my brothers and sisters, it may be a thought that is far from our minds, but inshallah, they are thinking of us. And do you know your grave spot, the spot where your bodies are destined for, that calls out to you every single day? It says to you, O you who walk on the earth heedless, do not forget me, remember me, for one day to come, you will have to come to me. Every single day it reminds us, my brothers and sisters. Do we take that heed? Do we take that call? No, my brothers and sisters. We go about our lives and we don't even think about it. So my brothers and sisters, it's a reminder for myself and a reminder for yourself that one day to come, inshallah, we are going to be in this position. One of the hadiths of our beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said 3 things are of benefit to a person when you have reached this stage in your life. Firstly, he said, knowledge that you have imparted to others, what we call in Islam, beneficial knowledge. So I have heard, our brother speak about the amount of advice and the amount of assistance he has given to others of the family. This is classified as that as well, my brothers and sisters. So beneficial knowledge, if you taught someone how to cook, taught someone how to earn a livelihood, every time that they act upon that knowledge that you taught to them, they are going to get benefit in their lives and you are going to be rewarded in your graves. That is why, my brothers and sisters, our beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he stressed on the importance of knowledge and teaching people. That is why the first command that came to him from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was Iqra. What does Iqra mean? It means you read. That was the first command that the angel Jibreel alayhi salam brought to our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Iqra, you read. And that is why, my brothers and sisters, spreading knowledge or educating people or teaching people is of great benefit to you even when you have left this world. When they act upon that knowledge, you are going to be rewarded. Printing books, inshallah, or whatever source of form of information. We have a lot of social media that you can share knowledge with, beneficial knowledge that is. Alhamdulillah, it's going to serve to benefit you after you have left this world. Secondly, my brothers and sisters, the establishments that that person would have made in the community or the masjid or wherever they was associated with. Let's say they donated fans to the masjid or they helped carpeted the masjid. Whatever good action that they did there, so long as people got benefit from that, they are going to receive the rewards in their grave. It's something we call in Islam Sadqatul Jariyah, a recurring blessing. Planting trees, making roadways possible. All these are establishments that you can do to give yourselves benefit in the qabr. My brothers and sisters, there are many children that we see suffering all across the world. As we look at our Palestine brothers and sisters and the children who are suffering, if you can donate towards that cause or give towards that, my brothers and sisters, and they can be benefited by it, it's termed as well as Sadqatul Jariyah, a reward that is going to be recurring in your state. And lastly, my brothers and sisters, righteous and pious children who can supplicate on the behalf of their father, their mother, or whoever has passed away. My brothers and sisters, this is one of the greatest benefits to a deceased person, when the children themselves can lift their hands and make a dua for their parents. And Allah has taught us several duas in the Quran. Some examples are chapter number 14, verse number 41. Rabbana ghfirli wali walidayya walil mu'minina yawma yakumul hisab. O my Lord, forgive me and my parents and save us from the day of Al-Hisab. Chapter number 17, verse number 24. وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَّا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. And say, O my Lord, you have mercy upon them, for they took care of me when I was small, weak and helpless. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us of these du'as in the Quran, that we pray for them, asking forgiveness for them and asking of mercy upon them. My brothers and sisters, this is inshallah the duty upon the family, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you a right and a responsibility towards them, to pray for them, to ask forgiveness for them, and inshallah to carry out their legacies. My brothers and sisters, there's another hadith and I will conclude. Beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said, when your parents have passed away, there are certain rights and responsibilities that the children need to maintain. Firstly, the things that they preferred and the things that they liked in this world, you the children should continue to do so. So if your father loved children or he loved to give towards children's cause, alhamdulillah, you the children inshallah should continue in that vein. Secondly, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, maintain the relationship of your kin and your kith, meaning the family relatives, my brothers and sisters. Know who are the relatives, the father's siblings, his cousins like this, and maintain that relationship with them. My brothers and sisters in Islam, it is not nice to sever ties with family. Rather to build and to establish family relations, my brothers and sisters, it is liked in Islam. So after the demise of parents, the children should continue to look for their uncles and their aunts and their cousins like this. And thirdly, my brothers and sisters, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, if your parents establish friendships in this world, maintain that relation with your father or your mother's friends. My brothers and sisters, this was a relationship that they valued, and inshallah you the children should maintain that relationship even when they are not here. So my brothers and sisters, this is the teachings of the beloved of Allah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam with regards to our deceased inshallah, and how we treat with them when they are not here. My brothers and sisters, and a last request inshallah, I make this request on behalf of the family, on behalf of the deceased inshallah. If the deceased may have said anything offensive or hurtful to anyone who is present here, it is your duty inshallah to ask Allah to forgive him for that mistake that he has made. Sometimes we may say things, sometimes we may do things, we don't know how it's going to affect someone, but inshallah it's our duty to ask Allah to forgive him for that mistake that he has made. My brothers and sisters, every one of us here inshallah, we are not perfect. As I say, we make mistakes and errors from time to time, but today inshallah it's very important for him, as he will be placed in the qabr, that you ask Allah to forgive him and overlook that mistake that he has made. And lastly, my brothers and sisters, if the deceased has any debt, the family inshallah needs to see that it is paid off. If it's not immediately, but the intention should be made to pay it off as soon as possible. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless and reward each and every one of you, and may he give you understanding of this knowledge that was shared here today. I will end with the dua supplication al-Fatiha, after which inshallah I will leave a few minutes for the viewing of the body of the family members, and then inshallah we will proceed to the janazah. Join me in dua. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina wa Maulana Muhammad wa barik wa sallam wa salli alayhi wa ilahukum ilahu wahid la ilaha illa huwa rahmanur rahim. Inna rahmatullahi qaribu minal muhsinin wa ma arsalnaka illa rahmatan lil alamin. Ma kana Muhammadun aba ahadim من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا خاتم النبيين الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رحمة للعالمين. Ya Allah, most gracious, most bountiful, most compassionate, most kind. Ya Allah, we are gathered once more at this home at this time, Ya Allah. With this mayat, our brother lying before us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we have recited the verse of Surah Al-Yasin, Ya Allah, seeking your forgiveness, seeking your blessing upon him this day, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we beg and ask of you, Allah, to forgive him for any mistake or error that he has committed in this world. Whether it was done knowingly, unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, hidden open, Ya Allah, we crave forgiveness on his behalf. Ya Allah, very soon he will be placed in the qabr, Ya Allah. We beg and ask of thee, Ya Allah, when he is interned, Ya Allah, to save him from the adhab, the punishment of the grave, Ya Allah. Lengthen his grave for him, Ya Allah. Make his grave for him very wide and spacious, Ya Allah. Illuminate his grave with the brightness of Jannah. Fragrant his grave with the fragrancy of Jannah. And on the day of Yawmul Qiyamah, rise him upon the righteous and pious servants of Islam. Grant him his book of deeds in his right hand in front of him. Enable him to cross the bridge of Sirat with lightning speed. Grant him entry into your Jannah, the highest station, Jannat al-Firdaus. Ya Allah, let all his good works and actions that he has done in this world serve to benefit him at this time, Ya Allah. Let his children, his grandchildren, and all the in-laws and family members who are present here, let their du'as and their forgiveness on him, Ya Allah, reach him at that time, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you are most merciful of those who show mercy. Bless our dear brother, forgive him, Ya Allah, and have mercy upon him, for you are most merciful of those who show mercy. I leave these few seconds silent that you may make your personal dua, personal supplication. آمين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. رب ارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا. رب ارحمهما كما ربيانا صغيرا. رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم إنا أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر ومن عذاب جهنم ومن فتنة المحيا والممات. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا غفور يا غفور يا غفور. Ya ilahi bekaso ko sirfate da asra hai. Damani ummid barde hum garibo ki dua hai. Ya ilahi ya ilahi chahiye tera karam bas. तेरी रहमत का सहारा. गाइड से मोहताज मत रख बाअदब ये इल्तिजा है. दामनी उम्मीद बर दे हम गरीबों की दुआ है. या इलाही या इलाही तू ही मौला तू ही आका. तुझे से हम मायूस क्यों हो. मांगने वाले की सब कुछ प्यार से तूने दिया है. دامنی امید بردے ہم غریبوں کی دعا ہے یا الہی اہل دنیا چھوڑ دو تم راہ جو شیطان کی ہے بس خدا کا راستہ ہے صاف سیدھا راستہ ہے دامنی امید بردے ہم غریبوں کی دعا ہے یا الہی سن صدا میری محمد مصطفیٰ کا واسطہ ہے جن کے خاطر تو نے مولا یہ جہاں پیدا کیا ہے دامنی امید بردے ہم غریبوں کی دعا ہے یا الہی اللہم تقبل من Randolph Rajack كما تقبلت من حبيبك محمد مصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم وخليلك إبراهيم عليه السلام ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار الفاتحة اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم الحمد للہ رب العالمین الرحمن الرحیم مالک یوم الدین ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین اہدنا الصراط المستقیم صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم ولا الضالین آمین ثم آمین بحق لا الہ الا اللہ محمد رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم آمین. Jazakallah, my brothers and sisters. I now leave it open for the family to do their viewing and then we'll proceed to the Janazah Salah.
عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام.
Rajack.
Right, Jerry? Pass it. Yeah, go for it, right?
No, leave that there.
نور الله فجرا جئت بعد العسر يسرا ربنا أعلاك قدرا يا إمام الأنبياء أنت في الوجدان حي أنت للعينين ضي أنت عند الحوض ري أنت هاد وصفي يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك
guidance, support during these difficult circumstances. Special thanks to family, friends, neighbors, colleagues, and well-wishers for their calls, texts, and messages. Means a lot to the family as they continue to navigate through this process of grief and healing. Thanks to all who are present today who took the time from their busy schedules to attend, support, and say farewell. Your physical presence is appreciated more than you. Thank you.
So, from the Janaza Salah, we'll ask you to come down here, please. Please. Okay. Don't touch the body. Yeah. Finish? This one? I select all the children or the grandchildren to come and come and cross it. Bismillah. Lift and leave the body. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Ameen. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa habibina wa shafiina wa rasulana wa maulana Muhammad wa alihi wa sallam wa sallim ilayhi. Allahumma rabbi yassir wa la tuhassir wa tahmid wa khair yas'ina fillah. Allahumma anta as-salam wa minka as-salam wa ilayka yarji'u as-salam. Hayna rabbana bis-salam wa dakhilna dar as-salam. Tabarakta rabbana wa ta'alita ya dhal jalali wal ikram. سمعنا وطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. اللهم إنا أعوذ بك من عذاب القبر من عذاب الفتنة يوم القيامة. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafur. Sallallahu ala habibi Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad wa barik wa sallam. Wallahu khairul hafidha wa huwa arhamar rahimin. Allahu akbar, Allahu akbar, Allahu akbar. Haq la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a class, we proceed straight to the second of the celebration.
حبيب سلامي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك قلبي حبي خير رسل ربي من به أبصرت دربي يا ختام المرسلين يا حبيبي يا محمد يا نبي سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا رسول سلام عليك يا حبيب سلام عليك صلوات الله عليك نور الله فجرا جئت بعد العسر